Okay. But yes, thank you for the follows, Sylvian. Sorry, I know it's like the Pokemon, but... Alright, let's continue. Yeah, sure, why not save? February 10th, 1:06 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 7. Now then, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Well, witness? Yes, how can I help you, Mr. Judge? Well, it seems that if we're to learn the truth, we'll need to hear your testimony. I have no problem with that. But when you've seen what I have, sometimes the truth is better left unknown. Man, that's... I gotta screenshot that. That's just... bitch. Oh, yeah, she's just... Okay, saving that. Ugh, maybe I'll... I think I'll try and use that for the thumbnail. Anyway. ... In any case, let's hear your testimony. Tell us about the plan that was carried out that night. The plan. The whole plan began with my death. A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya Fey would first have to die. The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. Plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway. Okay. So you Wait a minute. Did you just say the plan was to kill Maya Fey? Yes. You have a problem with that? Don't give us that nonsense. There's no way that... Watch yourself, trait. If you've got a problem, solve it during cross-examination. That's my rule. Mr. Godo is correct. And by the way, that's my rule as well. Oh. Hello, kitty snake. You okay? You lovely kitty. Okay. Yes. Lovely kitty. He still needs his claws trimmed. He's a little sharp. But we love him. Can I help you? My Jack. Yeah, okay. Alrighty. Oh, I keep getting pulled by the kitty. Can I help you, buddy? He doesn't want to give me attention, but he doesn't want me to go, so he keeps pulling me back. Lovely little kitty. And he's gonna eat my nose. Okay. Anyway. To kill Maya. Could it be true? The plan. The plan began. You were executed last month, correct? Yes, I was hanged. It wasn't exactly pleasant. How did you manage to discuss the plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fay? Last year, she was transferred to the same detention center as me. Since I was on death row and she was my mother, it was actually pretty easy to meet with her. As you can see, the real star of the show shows up. There's the kitty butt. Oh, he is so pretty. I love him. There's the cat butt. Cat butt we've all been waiting for. Okay, go on, buddy butt. Move along. Move along. I see. So that's when you discussed the plan? Huh. Are you crazy? First, that woman was planning to kill me as well. even though I'm her own daughter. All to make Pearl Fey the master of Crane? She's a cold, twisted woman. She thought she could finally regain her lost honor. The honor she lost when her younger sister, Misty, took her place as the master. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan. A plan, huh? You're talking about Pearl Fey, is that correct? Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us. You and your twin sister, Iris? That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spiritual powers. That's why we were abandoned by her, along with our father. Abandoned? The only person I ever really cared about in my life was myself. My sister was a nuisance, so I convinced my father to leave her at an old temple. You mean Iris? Yes, my father remarried a woman who also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around, right? And on top of that, my father had absolutely no interest in children in general. How horrible. The real horrible one was that woman, the bitter, vengeful woman. It was her stubbornness that gave birth to that child, Pearl Fey. She was born with abundance of spiritual power, unfortunately for her. Morgan Fey heaped all of her broken hopes and dreams on that poor child's back. All because of her pathetic dreams of having her bloodline become the main family. Maya would have to die, but why? For our bloodline to succeed as the main family, thus making Pearl the new master. The remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of. But Pearls would never agree to a plan like that. She adores Maya. How sad. You still don't get it, do you? What Pearl wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of the master. That's all. That's ridiculous. She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter, and naturally, the life of Maya Fey as well. How could anyone do that? You were gonna kill Maya? Pearl didn't need to know anything about it. All she had to do was follow the instructions in the letter and channel me. And I would have simply used her body and finished the job. In any case, I'm already dead, and there's nothing any of you can do to me. So the plan was to blame the crime on your younger sister? Or on Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple? She and I look absolutely identical. No one can tell us apart. If someone were to witness me killing Maya, naturally they would think it was Iris that had done it. And the witness in this case was the head nun, Sister Bikini. I never would have guessed she was going to return to Hazakura Temple that night. But she wound up seeing Iris's crime anyway. But why did you want to pin the murder on Iris in the first place? She's your twin sister, isn't she? Twin sister? Don't make me laugh. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her. Backstabber? You just don't understand. You never will. Anyway... Think the plan was a success? You heard me. Just as that woman had hoped. Maya Fey is dead. Now that the title of the master will pass on to Pearl Fey. That's absurd. Maya's just... She's just trapped inside the sacred cavern. Really? You're foolishly optimistic as ever, aren't you? My darling Feeny. Hmm? Do you want to know the truth? Ever since we met, I've despised you. Your sniveling naivete and your pathetic faith in other people.
Just want to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Fay's plan?
I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. It had no point, no value other than fulfilling her own greedy desires. Yes, it was certainly nothing to be proud of.
That's how you feel. Why did you help her carry it out? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya?
You may not understand it, being the kind and gentle soul that you are. You may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that.
So then tell me why.
Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. I only act in my own self-interest. The reason I helped her was for myself, for my own personal satisfaction.
What did you say? So this woman, Dahlia Hawthorne, she had her own reason for wanting Maya dead? Obviously, it's because you were helping Morgan Fay.
Helping? Don't make me laugh. From the day I was born to the day I died, I never helped anyone. I lived for myself, and in the end, I died for myself. I thought that was obvious.
So she wasn't actually cooperating with Morgan. She was just using Morgan and her plans so she could accomplish her own goal.
All I wanted to do was kill Maya Fey. That was the only way I could think of to get revenge.
Revenge? Looks like I have no choice but to present that piece of evidence. Can't believe it, she meant to kill Maya. Gotta keep a cool head. And I need to get more information out of her. It's the only way to understand this plan and what she was after as well. Could it be that your actual goal had nothing to do with Maya Fey herself?
As I said, none of you have the power to punish me anymore. Because I'm already dead. Well, I had the same problem, you see. You can't punish the dead, and you can't take revenge against them either.
You want to take revenge on someone?
I was sentenced to die because of that woman. Mia Fey.
Somehow knew this was it.
I wanted to send her a message. It was at her hands that I suffered my first humiliation. I wanted her to feel the same pain she made me feel. Sadly, when I realized revenge was impossible, I gave up.
And the reason it was impossible? Was it perhaps because Mia Fey had already died?
Yes, and I realized there's only one way to take revenge against the dead.
And how do you do that?
Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on, forever. I wanted to take away the person that Mia Fey loved most. I wanted to kill her with my own hands. That would be the one and only way I could take my revenge against Mia Fey.
Yes, what a bitch indeed.
That was the reason I helped out with this woman's plan.
Just for that? For that you would kill Maya? Your goal was no different than that of Morgan Fay. As they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. What a cruel plan, cruel, cold, and heartless.
Don't waste your time preaching to the dead. I've already told you there's not a thing you can do to me. At night, at about 9:30 p.m., I materialized into this world. I quickly pinned my hair up and put on a demon-warding hood. Then I picked up the staff that was by my side and left Hazakuta Temple.
So, it was Miss Elise who channeled her after all.
I That ridiculous head nun never noticed a thing. She left Maya Fey at the inner temple and wobbled back, clutching her poor old back.
Well, what did you do then?
That kid was easier to handle than I had hoped. I cut up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and...
Jack, knock it off. So then you're saying you stabbed Maya?
It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that.
What does that mean, no clear memory?
I don't know. I think I was stabbed.
You were stabbed? You were stabbed?
At the last minute, Maya Fey must have stabbed me, I'm sure of it.
It's not like her at all. Maya wouldn't stab a French fry with a plastic fork.
Anyway, I suddenly lost consciousness. But before I did, I scrawled her name on the lantern. Just as I was passing out, I wrote Maya behind my back.
Okay, yes, more stuff, okay.
I had hoped it would cast suspicion on her.
I can't believe she was thinking of that until the bitter end.
That's where my memory temporarily stops.
It stops?
I don't have any memory of actually killing Maya Fey with my own two hands. My very last memory was Maya's terror-filled eyes. When I woke up after that, I was in the sacred cavern surrounded by darkness.
I'm attacking the darkness.
You were in the sacred cavern? The entrance was sealed with one of those trick locks. Somehow I had been trapped in there.
But how did you wind up in there? I have no idea what my cat is doing. Let's see if it'll work this time. Yeah, see, just like I was saying, Ozzy, you put your hand in front of his eyes, and then he kind of eventually decides to move. Jack, no, he does it instantly. Oh, this is adorable.
I'd like to do that myself. Anyway, I was worried. I didn't know whether or not Maya Fey was dead. And I swore I wouldn't return to the underworld until I knew I had killed her myself.
For Ghost, you're one tough cookie.
I wanted to get out of there and make sure she was dead. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't get out.
The trick lock stopped you, huh?
I didn't know how to remove it.
So then you're saying you were actually confined against your will inside the sacred cavern?
Yes, I wanted to get rid of that annoying lock as soon as possible. But it wasn't easy. I kept getting interrupted while I was working on it.
Interrupted?
It was early in the morning, but someone came into the training hall.
What? Who? Could it have been Maya?
I thought the same thing, but I couldn't see.
Why not?
If someone had spotted me, I would have lost my chance to take revenge. So I made sure to hide myself well at the back of the sacred cavern.
That morning, only 2 people could have gone into the training hall. Maya and Pearls. Pearls went there to cover the hanging scroll in gravy.
Still, I finally managed to remove the lock. But I was too late.
What do you mean by that?
The flies had already started to gather.
Bridge had been fixed and the police had started their investigation, correct?
Naturally, I couldn't go out, so instead I returned to the cavern and put the lock back on myself. I realized I wouldn't get a chance to see Maya's corpse as I had hoped. But just then, Lady Luck showed up.
Lady Luck?
After that big earthquake, she showed up all by herself.
The real Iris.
She said she'd come to make sure the sacred cavern was alright. Stupid girl. I came out from the sacred cavern and got a feel for the situation. And I locked her away in my place.
Where'd you get the locks?
I had finally learned exactly what had happened. It was then that I learned that the plan had actually succeeded.
What do you mean by your plan had succeeded?
I misunderstood one thing, you see. That night, the one that had summoned me, I had assumed that it was Pearl Fay.
Well, of course you would have assumed that. It was written in the instructions.
But I was wrong. The person that had actually called my spirit back was... Misty Fay, the picture book author.
What?
Well, that's really the only possibility, isn't it? After I lost consciousness in the garden. It was her body that was left lying there. Maya Fay, I wasn't able to kill her with my own hands after all. But even so, I made her commit the most vile sin a human can commit. And that is... matricide, the sin of killing her own mother.
No way! Order in the court. What is the meaning of this?
It's true that I was the one who attacked Maya Fay, but even so, the murderer who actually snuffed out Misty Fay's life was none other than your darling little Maya.
Ridiculous. That's nonsense.
Are you sure about that? Just think about it.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I guess we'll have to...
There's even evidence supporting these facts, isn't there?
What? What do you mean? What is this so-called evidence?
The fact that Maya Fay has disappeared is evidence enough, isn't it?
Huh?
The idea that she's still in the sacred cavern is just ridiculous. She wasn't able to escape from the inner temple, that much is obvious. In that case, there was only one place she could be.
Where?
Do I have to spell it out? The bottom of Eagle River. Where else?
No, you're taking... You're Maya. You're Dahlia in Maya's body. Eagle River?
Maya Fay killed her long-lost mother. Can you imagine the guilt she must have felt when she realized that? That's why she threw herself into Eagle River. Most bodies that wind up in there are lost forever. So, what do you have to say now, Feeny?
Oops. Sorry, that's my phone. What kind of ringtone is that? Beep. Goto here. Okay, thanks. Beep. What? Was it something important? I just finished removing the locks from the sacred cavern. That's great! What about Maya? There was a woman in the cave. Was it Maya Fay? It was the accused, Sister Iris. Huh?
Don't look so surprised. I locked her in there yesterday. I just got finished telling you that.
So, what about Maya? Where is she? There's no one else found inside the sacred cavern. No, it can't be.
I told you, didn't I? She's dead.
No. No! Hold it. Okay, guess not. It seems that this case has come to an end, a tragic end. Sadly, it appears the killer of Miss Elise, also known as Misty Fay, was her own daughter, Maya Fay.
Overcome with guilt for what she had done, Maya Fey jumped to her death into the raging waters of the Eagle River.
It can't be. Huh. Trite. Have you ever heard this one? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. No matter how improbable it may seem.
What is that supposed to mean, Prosecutor Godo?
According to this witness, Maya Fey threw herself into the Eagle River. However, is that really the truth? Remember, this woman testified earlier that the bridge was already on fire when the murder was taking place in the garden. Which means if Maya had thrown herself into the river, it must have been from the inner temple side, near the bridge.
That's right. That's where she jumped from.
But that's impossible. It's impossible to jump into the river from there.
What? Don't get your panties all in a don't get your panties all twisted up, trite.
Just relax and think through this whole thing again.
So it's impossible.
Maya couldn't have thrown herself into Eagle River.
Well, Mr. Wright, Miss Hawthorne claims Miss Fey threw herself into the river from the inner temple side. Do you have any evidence that refutes this claim?
No. Well, there's a big outcropping right here, so, I don't think it's possible. It's possible to jump into the Eagle River from the inner temple side. No one knows that better than this witness.
What did you say?
11 years ago, you jumped into the very same river. Just take a look at this overhead map. As you can see, below the cliffs on the inner temple side is a big rock shelf.
Oh, you're right.
She wouldn't have reached the river if she had jumped off from there. In other words, if she had jumped, we should still be able to see her body in this photo. So you finally figured it out.
No! Order! You're just playing with me. Maya Fey's body is at the bottom of the Eagle River. There's nowhere else she could possibly be hiding.
Miss Hawthorne, have you ever heard this one before? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
Yes, just a few minutes ago.
Maya Fey wasn't inside the sacred cavern. We now know that she didn't throw herself into the Eagle River.
Correct.
That eliminates the most likely possibilities. Now, although it seems improbable, there's still one other place she could be.
What? What is this one possibility you're talking about? That's obviously a bluff. So where's her dead body then?
Finally, I think the pieces are falling into place. Normally, the living have no way to punish the dead. But I think there's a way to give Dahlia Hawthorne the ultimate punishment. Shall I tell you, Miss Hawthorne? Shall I tell you where Maya is this very incident? Maya Fey is in this very courtroom. There's only one possibility left. Namely, she's right here in this very courtroom.
What?
Maya Fey is here?
You say she's here in my courtroom?
Dahlia Hawthorne. I seem to recall that you said I had misunderstood one thing, you see.
So what?
But I think there's one more thing you misunderstood.
What do you mean?
Tell me something. At this very moment, who is channeling Dahlia Hawthorne?
Why, that's obvious. That's Pearl Fey, that pathetic little sniveling runt.
You're wrong. Pearl's tried, but she couldn't do it.
I've never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it's happened.
Isn't there any explanation for why you couldn't channel a spirit?
could happen if someone else was already channeling the same spirit? Someone called me before Pearl did, but who?
Pearl's even tried again on the day after the crime, but she couldn't do it. What could that mean? I think the truth is becoming clearer to you right about now, am I correct? Wasn't Pearls that channeled you? Or was someone else who called you before she could? This is an easy one. Pearls couldn't do it, and Misty Faye is gone. There's only one possibility left. Come on already. I can't stand the tension. Dahlia Hawthorne. Person channeling you right now must be Maya Faye.
What?
But how could that be? Remember what this witness, Dahlia Hawthorne, said about her goal. She said that her goal was to kill Maya Faye.
Yes, that's right. But if Maya channeled the spirit of someone that was trying to kill her...
Huh. Well, Gramps, what would happen?
Could it be?
Looks like you finally understand, Your Honor.
Well, I don't. What are you going on about?
What I'm going on about is the reason Maya channeled you. And there's only one reason. To protect herself from you.
To protect herself? From me?
Yes. On the night of the crime, you were only interested in one thing. Pussy. Killing Maya Faye. Path to the inner temple was closed off and there was nowhere for her to run. So then the problem became, where would be the safest place to hide?
You mean, that's when she channeled me?
All along you thought you had been channeled by Pearls. That's why it never occurred to you that Maya's hiding place was you.
No, don't say that. You're saying that I was played for a fool by that little whelp?
Many whelps handle it.
Maya Faye killed herself, isn't it obvious?
Sorry, but no. It would have been impossible for her to jump into the Eagle River. This was the only avenue of escape open to Maya. The only way that Maya could disappear from the inner temple.
I don't believe you. Stupid little girl like that, who's never been out in the real world. She could never come up with a plan like that. Who could have ever given her such a brilliant idea?
Well,
me, of course.
Mia!
Mia Faye. It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne.
So it's true. It was you.
Yes.
Huh. Here's something else, kitten.
But what are you doing here?
That hair. It's Pearl's, right?
Tell me something, Dahlia. I want you to think back to the night one more time. You just cornered Maya in the inner temple garden. And then, in the final moments of the fight, you lost consciousness. I was stabbed by Maya Faye. Actually, Maya lost consciousness at the same time as you.
She did?
Not terribly surprising since she was about to be killed. When she woke up, she was in the training hall. That's when Maya decided she needed help, so she channeled me. She explained in a memo that's the situation she was in. She asked me what I thought she would do, or she should do. She did that? I can't believe it. Of course, I didn't have all the details, but one thing was perfectly clear. And that was, I knew that you couldn't be allowed to wander free.
Free? What do you mean?
It's a race against time, so I wrote down 2 things that Maya had to do. channel Dahlia Hawthorne as soon as possible, and lock herself in the sacred cavern until help arrived.
So it was Maya who put the lock on there.
Yes, but why did you order her to do those two things? If she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. By one Pearl Fay.
Pearls?
Yes, Pearl didn't understand the plan properly, so all she was trying to do was follow her mother, Morgan Fay's instructions. If she had succeeded in channeling Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit, things would have turned out very badly, to put it mildly.
So that's how it was. Dahlia Hawthorne would use the body of Pearl Fay to kill Maya at all costs.
Yes, it certainly sounds like that was the intent all along. How dare you! I won't forget this.
Why not just admit it, Dahlia Hawthorne? Your little plan was nothing but a big failure.
Yes. Another failure to add to the pile of shame, wouldn't you say? What do you mean by another?
Think about it, Dahlia. Remember all your past crimes? Not a single one of them was a success. They all ended in failure.
What? How dare you?
11 years ago. Fake kidnapping, your very first crime. You got your hands on a $2 million diamond, but after Terry Falls escaped and went to meet with Valerie Excuse me. After Terry Falls escaped and went to meet with Valerie Hawthorne, the truth was exposed.
Shut your mouth. That wasn't my fault. It was because of that stupid oaf of a prisoner and that weakling of a policewoman.
And then, 1 year later, you tried to kill me. Well, I'm still alive, but you wound up killing someone else. As a result, you were sentenced to death. It's one stupid move after another for you, but it's no longer funny.
You wipe that smug, happy-go-lucky smile off your face.
And now this. You've messed up again. You let Maya Fay escape. Even though she was right there in front of you. Mia Fay. Sorry, I got a little...
You spinster! I was supposed to kill Maya Fay like I swore I would. And if only you'd gotten that spiky-haired jerk the guilty verdict, I wouldn't have been hanged to death.
True.
But I think you finally understand, Dahlia Hawthorne. You will never defeat me. What? What did you say? Whether you're alive, dead, or somewhere in between, you will never defeat me. As long as I'm around, you're destined to lose for all eternity.
Oh shit, she's gonna do something with Maya's body now. I remember what you said earlier in the trial. You said there was no way we could punish you. Because you were already dead.
What about it?
Doing that made me think we could only save Homer Simpson. Yeah, Homer Simpson. Homer Simpson. Homer Simpson. Okay, that's weird.
What about it?
Then you said, even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever.
That's very true, Dahlia. And that's exactly the punishment you'll never be able to escape from.
For all of eternity, you'll have to remain as Dahlia Hawthorne.
A miserable, pathetic, weak creature who can never win at anything. And for you, there is no escape from that. No hope of freedom. Since the day you were executed, the narrow bridge that once stretched out in front of you has burnt to a crisp. You've...
Oh, this is gonna be...
You're wrong.
Oh, she's going Torgo now.
It can't be. How could I lose to the likes of you?
No longer matters. I don't care whether you win or lose anymore. The only thing I want is for you to come out of Maya's body right now. Whoa. Well, that was kind of creepy. She's got no chest either.
I'm not ready. Not ready to go.
Huh. Magatama. Oh, Maya's finally back. Oh, I was genuinely worried that, yeah, Nightmare Fool, I know! That scream! Oh, Maya fainted. Man's an album cover. Mm-hmm. Sorry. No, I was genuinely worried that, Dolly was gonna go, "You think so?" Pull out a knife and stab, 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 stab. You know, then Maya would really die. Ugh. But fortunately, she couldn't do that. Now then, I assume you are the real Iris?
Yes, I was just rescued from the sacred cavern.
I must say, you and your twin sister are indeed identical from what I can see. In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. Mr. Godo, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne? If you ask me, Your Honor, looks like she went back to the hell she came from.
Seems that Mr. Fay wasn't the only victim of this crime. Maya Fay, as well as the young Pearl Fay, were also victims of this wicked and selfish plan.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to an end, it seems. Would be best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again.
Your Honor?
Yes, what is it?
About this whole spirit medium thing. It's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now.
Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me for not studying hard enough. That's why I made a concerted effort to study up on the Korean channeling technique.
Hey, isn't that the New Year's issue of Occult?
I've seen quite a few things in my many years on the bench, and in all that time I've finally learned this one thing. Each case is different and takes place in its own world, if you will. In order to fully understand that world, first we have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I used to differ.
Never thought of it that way.
At any rate, it's time to pass judgment in the case of Iris of Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
Oh. You're a little too fast with that gavel, Your Honor.
What do you mean by that, Mr. Godo? This trial, it isn't over yet. That's what he means.
What?
Trite.
Remember what Miss Evil Spirit said in her testimony?
Huh?
Dahlia's testimony.
I cut up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. I think I was stabbed. Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya, she was stabbed and killed by someone. Yes, that's right. The person that was ultimately killed was the
spirit medium that channeled Dahlia. Misty Faye. But who killed her? We still don't know who did it.
This isn't over.
Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. You can't let her walk until there is evidence that proves her innocence.
No way.
But this court isn't prepared for any further testimony. Prosecution is ready to call our final witness.
Final witness?
This one will clear up the whole mystery. The mystery of who killed Misty Fey.
Indeed. Is it really alright, Mr. Prosecutor?
Of course it's alright, Madam Attorney.
Very well then. Who is this final witness?
Isn't it obvious? There's one person who saw the whole event and will put the final dagger in this case.
Someone who saw the murder take place?
The very person who saw her mother killed in front of her own eyes.
You mean Maya?
She can't testify after what she's just been through. We need to find the truth. The prosecution calls Maya Fey to the witness stand.
Man, I hope I can remember her voice. Very well, but first we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Mrs. Fey to recover her before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's permission, we will proceed with the trial.
Hey, Wright, I've got something to say to you, so listen up. What is it? I don't think much of you as a lawyer. It's always the same with you. You somehow manage to squeak by without even a faint understanding of the case. Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last minute to save you. You've got some nerve. But that's not gonna happen this time. This time, you're gonna have to do this by yourself.
That's enough. This court is now in recess.
Okay. February 10th, 2:56 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1.
I'm truly sorry about everything. You were working so hard to defend me, but I was missing all day and we didn't even have a chance to talk.
She's right. When I met Iris at the training hall yesterday, they had already switched places, and Iris was inside the sacred cavern.
I wanted to at least be in the defendant's box today to root you on.
Well, it wasn't your fault. You were locked up this whole time. There's something more important than that, though. I have to ask you. Why didn't you help your sister out as much... why did you help your sister out as much as you did?
Huh?
If you had tried to get help at the sacred cavern yesterday, you wouldn't have spent an entire day locked up in there.
My sister... I felt sorry for her. She was abandoned by her mother and never got any love from our father either.
Says, sorry we were unable to connect to chat, reconnecting in 2 seconds. Is the stream still going? Oh, it is, huh? Okay.
She was abandoned by her mother and never got any love from our father either.
Yes, but it was the same with you too, wasn't it?
Yes, but at least I had Sister Bikini, who was like a mother to me. If only Dahlia had come with me to Hazakura Temple. I always loved her. Dahlia was always so smart, so strong. She never complained about anything. That's why I promised her that I would help her.
Do I know how to get back to Dalaran if my Hearthstone is spent? Yes, I do, Red. Go into Orgrimmar, down into the that one portal place, the Cleft of Shadows, I think it's called. There's portals there, one to Hellfire Peninsula, one to, I think, Ashran, and then there are 2, actually, to Dalaran. And you click on those, both of them will take you to Dalaran. Don't worry, and you hover over it, it'll say Dalaran, takes you to... Either one takes you to New Dalaran, not Old Dalaran. So, there you go. You're talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago?
Yes, I wanted to be useful for her in some way. But as usual, I was too cowardly. At the last minute, I ran away. Because of that, Dahlia's half-sister Valerie ended up...
That was the case that wounded Mia so badly.
But things didn't end there, of course. Some people suspected that my sister was involved in the murder.
Some people? You must mean...
Yes, 2 defense lawyers. Mia Fey and Diego Armando. After poisoning Mr. Armando, who was getting too close to learning the truth, Dahlia even tried to kill the person who had unknowingly hid the poison for her. You.
That's right. Iris, there's one more thing that I have to ask you.
Yes, what is it?
On the night of the murder, the person that cleaned up the corpse of the victim, Misty Fey, was it really you?
Yes, it was me. That night, after I rang the lights out bell, I went back to my room. At around 10:30, I received a call on my cell phone. There's a problem. Coming in the inner temple right away. I got on the snowmobile and headed for the inner temple. But the path to the inner temple was cut off, right?
Or, the path to the inner temple was cut off, right?
Exactly. I can't just leave the body here. Alright, let's do this as you said. It was me. I was the one that received her body. The murder weapon had been left in her body so she wouldn't bleed too much. The staff that Mystic Elise always held.
I knew it. So the actual murder weapon was the staff.
Yes, that's right. I brought the body back to Hazakota Temple on the snowmobile.
But why? Why did you alter the body?
I didn't want anyone to know that the staff was the murder weapon. I didn't want to leave anything that would lead back to Misty Fey. So I dressed her in a robe and stabbed her with the shichishito. I wiped the blood off on the staff's blade and left it next to her on the ground.
But where did she get the sheath? Iris, just tell me one last thing. Tell me the name of the person that called your cell phone. The real killer.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I can't do it. I can't say who did it.
I see. Victim staff updated in the court record. Defendant!
Yes?
The judge is calling you. He wants you to see you in his chambers. He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne.
All right. Well then, I'll see you later. There's something I want to tell you later.
Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell me. So it's true. Iris cooperated with the real killer. Maybe even from the very beginning.
Phoenix.
Boobs. Mia, how is Maya doing?
Physically, I'm not worried. She'll recover completely. But emotionally, she's been hurt very badly by this case.
I see. You don't mean she's learned who Misty Fey really was?
Yes, I went to the medical office and talked with her. I told her everything I knew.
But why?
Maya's stronger than you think. I knew she could take it. All of it.
Excuse me. What do you mean by that?
I want you to figure that answer out by yourself. The trial is about to restart. The real killer, Do you know who it is yet? Iris wouldn't tell me who called her, but still. I think that just maybe I know who it was. That night, the victim was killed in the garden of the Inner Temple, and the criminal wasn't just there by accident, which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plan from the very beginning. And one more thing. The victim was moved to Hazakura Temple's side by pendulum. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means they were stuck on the Inner Temple side for almost an entire day. Exactly, so the criminal was someone that wasn't in Hazakura Temple the following day. That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is yours to win or lose. Okay, I've got it. Thank you, Mia. Finally, it's almost time to bring this case to an end. What exactly did Maya see, anyway? And who was it that actually killed Misty Faye? Whoever it was, I have to prove it. Me, all by myself. Okay, so there's one part left. And it's 8:30. So I'm going to press on, continue on. Hopefully it won't go too much longer. The last part, there wasn't a whole lot of trial to it, but there was a lot of trial banter to it. So hopefully this next one will be either a little more action-packed and end when it ends. But if not, well, I'm just going to have another long-ass stream. So, yeah. Alright. February 10th, 3:36 p.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 7. Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the test we had performed earlier. Tests? Yes, tests. On the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree. Oh yeah, that. I totally forgot about it. Well, that's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought the victim. So, what are the results? Was it the victim's blood, or... Due to time constraints, the full test wasn't possible. However, there was one thing we can say with certainty. The blood that was on the dagger was not the victim's blood. I hope this wasn't Chris's blood. And that is all. Now then, let's restart this trial. So, it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. Then, who was it? Dagger updated in the court record. I think I know whose blood it is. I'm sure that both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims. I understand, Your Honor. From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking. So let's finish this quickly. Agreed. Very well. Please bring in the last witness. Witness, please tell us your name and profession. Maya Fey. No. Maya Fey. My profession is, I'm the assistant manager at Wright & Co. law offices. Maya. According to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium of the Korean channeling technique. I'm frightened. The Fey clan. I don't want any more to do with it. Oh, Maya. Pain the Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable. Very well. Now then, Miss Fey. When the event occurred, you were in the garden of the Inner Temple, and you witnessed the moment of Misty Fey's murder. Is this correct? I didn't see anything. Straighten up this moment, young lady. Huh? Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. But I... Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact.
But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? Almost had a photo finish to the bathroom. Well, that's lucky, I guess. You've seen the witnesses come out, and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? You know, it just occurred to me. She was the first person... well, no. It hasn't been since the first game that Maya's been on the witness stand. Anyway, on the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? Witness, if you please. Yes, Your Honor. Witness testimony at the Inner Temple. I was passing through the garden on the way to the spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!" And something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness. So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been the staff. Maya, the person who hit you, it was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was. Maya, think hard. Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't. Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone. It seems that it will be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination. Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. The Inner Temple. Okay. You think you screamed, but you're not sure? Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, an adult, a child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits. Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my robes. I thought this person might attack me, so I... Anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that it was my last hope. Wow, sounds like poor little Maya really was out of her mind. But I wonder what she meant by last hope. What do? Do I press her for more details? Wait a minute, Maya. What's this my last hope stuff? What? What do you mean by your last hope? No. That's what you said. You said my last hope. Huh? What? I said what? Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see and you screamed, right? You screamed, "Help me." Yeah? But you testified that you screamed that because you thought it was your last hope. Oh, well, you know, that's like... What do you call it when that happens? Maya's not doing so well up there. Oh, yeah, Oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at. What did you just say? Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming to for help. Ah! What is it now? I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out. Uh-huh. Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person? I meant to keep that part a secret. Nerd, what have I done? Takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say. A ton of pressure? You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber.
Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. I want you to add it to your testimony.
A man? Wait, a man? So, from what we know, it was either Larry, who was sleeping, waiting for Iris, or me, that she was yelling at. So, in other words, it wasn't one of us. So who was it? And on top of that, by the light of the stone lantern, lantern was not lit on the scene of on the night of the crime. So there was a man standing behind your attacker. Yeah. That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Misty Faye. Otherwise known as Misty Faye, your mother.
The killer?
Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you?
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright?
To be frank, Your Honor, I think she is in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with her testimony.
Huh? What do you mean? What problem?
Maya, on the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission.
Huh? What?
It's true. There was no light anywhere in that garden that night.
No! Order in the court. Mr. Gordo, explain this.
It had the pureness of milk to perfect clear darkness of coffee. Stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of cafe au lait. Cafe au lait? Oh, lait, excuse me.
Is that even legal?
Cafe au lait. Mr. Trite's words are the milk and you are the spoon, Your Honor.
I'm a spoon? I'm no spooning pot. There you go, sweetie. I'm no spooning pot, I'll have you know. I'm a spoon, but there is no spoon.
You must have noticed it too, Trite. This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that. Sorry, but that's not going to cut it.
What did you say?
There truly was no light in the garden, and there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony.
Nick?
May I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. Yep, localization humor. Well, yeah, do you remember, earlier there was the, this is Sparta? Never mind, it was the one with the, French guy and the guy with the C's, and yeah, anyway. She said that she didn't know if it was a man or woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker, and she quite clearly described him as a man.
Ah!
In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of the attacker in front of her.
No! Order! What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Faye saw the real killer under pitch-black conditions?
Objection!
Trite, do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen it in the dark? There was no other light source at that scene. There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godo. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark. And now, you're trying to cover up for him.
Cover? For the man that killed her mother?
There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is.
Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you.
Huh. You talk a good game, Trite, but let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black, so what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff.
No, Nick, don't! Please, stop!
Maya's dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth. Alright, Miss Wright, time to show us what you've got. Who was this person that you say Miss Fay saw in the darkness? Well, there's only one person that we're aware of that can attack the darkness. Because it was pitch black, Miss Fay was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes?
What? But how do you propose to show us something like that?
It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night.
Conditions?
Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. Okay.
What? This is... But it can't be.
Huh. That was a nice bit of deduction. Trite. Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. Order! Prosecutor Godo, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it? Huh. Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person. What do you mean by that? If you've got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights or 4?
Well, witness, answer the question. You're wrong. I never saw that. Maya, I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man, for a totally different reason.
What?
Objection!
Stop your chattering, Your Honor.
Chattering? There are 4 lights.
If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. He just said that. Alright. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man.
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but...
The killer.
When I came to, I was just lying there on the training floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit and the body was gone. And all of the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up, too. Since the person that did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man.
So it is after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man.
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor,
No need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godo said, you're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation that you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the criminal was a man. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. The torches were lit?
Yes, that's how I noticed that the whole scene had changed.
I'm gonna say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be? The killer probably lit them since it was impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me.
Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body? That's true. It's hard to see how that would be any advantage to the killer. The only one who could gain anything from that would be the only person that was in the inner temple, Maya. Kiki just wandered into my office. And who's going under the desk? He's sitting down with the vent. And he's just there. Okay, I guess Kiki's chilling. Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on him, make sure, you know, either he leaves or nothing happens to him. Anyway, ... Very well, let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene. So, you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It did look really odd. Snow was removed in an unnatural-looking rectangle shape around the lantern. There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they're all really heavy, way too heavy for me to use. An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away? Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say a lot of the victims' blood sprayed onto the snow? Yeah. The area I collapsed in ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the reason I think that's the most reasonable explanation. Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it, there was no need to remove that amount. That's true. He could have scooped up the snow, or he could have scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood. It looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue. But I think this will help explain them. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right? Yes, I think so. But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something. You did? Yes. I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me, for my sake. Huh? What? Hiding it for you? Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. If Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden, she may have thought that you had done it. No, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened? Yes, I'm sure of it. Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. If that was the case, why didn't the Maya written on the stone lantern get cleared up? The body of Misty Faye was carried all the way to Hazakura Temple's courtyard. Then at the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe that this was all done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that still seems somewhat odd. Oh? And what would that be? You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Goto. It's the message written in blood on the lantern.
It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. Ah, even though it's upside down. Why is it upside down? Whatever. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't he wipe the writing off the lantern? Ah, you're right. Order, but Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene? Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow, and not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing. But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all that snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the bloody lantern? Bloody lantern. I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must have been a reason for it. Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern? The killer didn't notice it. Prosecutor Godo, early in this trial, you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it. But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that. You're right. There is no way any normal person would. What? What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether. And who would that be? Who was this person that could have failed to notice the bloody writing? Again, Godo. Mr. Godo, this is what you said yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godo? This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented. This lantern. There's something written on it. Why, it's written in blood. Nonsense. This lantern is as clean as a whistle. Mr. Godo, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? Wait, if he couldn't see red on a white background, how could he see red in the snow? Unless he didn't know where it was, and so he had to clean up a large area just